to infinity and into this Lightyear movie review. I've just got home from the new Pixar film Lightyear, its first film in theaters since the pandemic started, all the way back in 2020, obviously. And gosh, what was the name of the Onward? Onward was the last Pixar movie we had in theaters. Unfortunately, Luca and Turning Red both became Disney Plus only movies. Both did very well in that way too. But finally, we're getting this juggernaut of a movie studio back into theaters where I think these movies rightly deserve to be. And we have this very actiony summer blockbustery type movie, Lightyear. Now, um, kicking off the review, I'm going to say Chris Evans as Buzz Lightyear was a great voice acting choice. You never really felt that he wasn't in that Tim Allen style like toy character that he wasn't that the voice matched it very well. It felt very Buzz. I believed it was very Buzz. And Chris Evans, when given chances, was able to really give depth to the character and show different emotional tones and such with his voice acting. He was a great casting choice as Buzz Lightyear in this movie, and I would not be surprised if we see more of him in the future in this character in a franchise style role. When I think about the movie Lightyear, I kind of think about it two ways. One, it is a very solid blockbustery action type movie. You got your science fiction in there. It has some of your grounded characters you can connect to. It has bits and pieces of actions throughout. And it was very well done from that perspective. Beautifully animated, beautifully imagined by Pixar, like always. And then there's a secondary part, which I'm not trying to touch this as like a big negative, because when we look at the history of movies, I don't know if there's a studio out there that is as successful as Pixar when it comes to making just overall just high quality movie after high quality movie after high quality movie. And I feel here with Lightyear, there was a little bit of the Pixar flair missing that you get from some of their tentpole successes, where things like your Coco, even Finding Nemo, obviously the Toy Story movies, Wall-E, the list can go on and on. Inside Out. Like, there's a huge list of Pixar movies that they're able to be kind of fun little blockbuster style movies, but they're also very character motivated. And the way they write their characters and the nuances and the growth of characters and the lessons being learned in the movies are so delicately made and put into action so perfectly that the standard for Pixar is at an all-time high when it comes to movies going in. And I do think Lightyear had near the middle and the end misses a little bit of that Pixar flair, that Pixar specialty that makes it, into a top-notch, memorable, all-time great style Pixar film that I think a lot of us might be expecting going in. The first third of this movie is expertly done, and you get a lot of that Pixar flair there. There's a really touching moment between Chris Evans's Buzz Lightyear and his commander Alicia Hawthorne. That was just a very touching relationship and moment, and you understood what the message that was being seen in this movie. But I also feel like the reason why it kind of didn't have that Pixar touch is because it felt like the movie kind of rushed through their messaging and what it was trying, the story and message it was trying to tell. In favor of maybe some more actiony plots, maybe a little bit more comedy than I personally am used to with basic Pixar movies. But that doesn't mean it wasn't a very good movie. It just means that I don't think this is going to be remembered as a top tier great Pixar movie. And I hope some people don't go in expecting that. And I'm trying to use this review to limit these expectations because I think there's a lot to talk about this movie. There's a lot of spoilers to talk about this movie. I think, when it comes to the character of Buzz and what he goes through, they did a very good job in the trailers, kind of hiding the exact journey he's on and what the whole point in the like the ethos of this movie is trying to be. So I think if you're on the fence, I'm doing my best to like not spoil the movie in different ways, but I think it's very important that if you are planning to go see this movie, which I do recommend people go and see, I think it's going to be a great family film. I think it's going to be a great sci-fi style film for people. Summer, actiony style movie. Um, it's kind of unfortunate that it's come out similar to Top Gun in a way, but because Top Gun takes the kind of pilot style and action and does it in such a high quality way that I think it makes Lightyear a little bit underwhelming in different aspects. And that's the thing that's just Top Gun being a world class movie in its way, but Lightyear in itself tells a very delicate story of Buzz Lightyear and the mission that he's on, and kind of forgiving himself for something that you see happens in the very beginning of the movie. In this, he eventually runs into Kiki Palmer, Izzy Hawthorne, related individual to his commander. Kiki does a great job with the role Izzy. In fact, I found myself having more of those Pixar touching moments with Izzy. And again, I think if you gave Buzz and Izzy just a little bit more time to sit and a little bit more reflection in what the stories they're trying to tell and these character moments and these character growth moments and kind of the messaging of the movie, I think you'd have a really, really strong top contender Pixar movie. But it kind of goes a little bit quick. It doesn't settle down and really make you comfortable, and kind of warm you with these messages. It kind of pushes, blows by them, and you know what it is, but you don't get a chance to sulk in it and think about it and really relate to it because this movie is nonstop action after the first third. And that's mainly my own. I want to say my issue because I think the movie was exactly what I believe they intended it to be. But I think that the pacing of this movie is what keeps it from being an all-time Pixar great film. Peter Son as Socks the robotic cat was the MVP of the whole entire movie. Socks, you were worried about being this annoying animal creature that like the joke getter, of the movie. He's one of the comedic reliefs, and he actually has a very decent story throughout. You see him get used, and you see him be a really big character growth style for Buzz throughout the movie. And in my opinion, Socks was the MVP of this movie. Now, if you want to talk about the weakest type characters, I'm going to go ahead and say Taika Waititi's, who I love Taika Waititi. Taika Waititi is an amazing director. I love when he acts and stuff. He has a great comedic sense. But his character, Mo Morrison, I felt was just a little bit too much of a overbearance in this movie, and it relied way too much on him being incompetent as a comedic relief that it overdid it a little bit. And I think it took away time and took away the message that we could have had for Lightyear and Izzy, for Buzz and Izzy, and their character message and what the story was trying to tell with this character of Mo Morrison. I did love Dale Souls as Darby Steele, another companion to Buzz in this movie. They played a really decent, again, somewhat comedic role, but I really, really felt they were kind of the straight person that was just happy to be alive and happy to do stuff. Other standouts are Uzo Abuda as Alicia Hawthorne. And I want to say that's about it. This is a very small cast. It's a very simple, straightforward pacing movie. The movie starts with this very science fiction style beginning, and something happens that makes Buzz feel a certain way. And we kind of see this journey, this parallel for both Buzz and the commanding officer Hawthorne in the very beginning. And then, once the first act ends, we move into a second and third act that is nothing but action, with a very interesting twist to the Emperor Zurg character that we have in the end of the second act, beginning of the third act. And it was a twist that made sense. I think what they there was a lot of times where I was wondering about a certain thing, and especially with a certain character, and I was like, man, that character is kind of this like pessimistic, short-sighted, stubborn. So whenever that character came back and you know, it comes around and connects it to Zurg. I thought it was very well done, and I thought it was a very well nuanced thing. I wish they had a little bit more time to flesh out Emperor Zurg in some ways and show that character's progression to becoming the Emperor, Emperor Zurg. But again, the movie is wanted to be kind of nonstop actiony style moments, so we didn't get the time to flesh out that. The pace had to keep going at a rapid amount, which again is really what keeps this from being a top tier Pixar film. So it's kind of short. I recommend this for families. I recommend this for people who loves animation. I recommend this for people who just want to go enjoy the movies with a good time. It's a Pixar movie. It's a very good quality movie. There's 3 end credit scenes, with the third one coming after all the credits and the Disney logo and the Pixar logo being the most important one to see. But the other 2 are fun little gags. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Lightyear. Very good actiony blockbuster summer movie, but didn't have the pace kept it from having that special Pixar touch to it, where it was where Pixar is so good at able to tell a message and to tell a story, and to show your characters' growth and for their audience to empathize and grow with the characters. That this movie, in a way, I feel kind of lacks. Now, where would I put this on my top 10 movie list of the year so far? This is the question. Does it make the cut? Does it not make the cut? We've had some movies recently that have made it, like Top Gun Maverick. And then we've had some movies that haven't, like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and Jurassic Park Dominion. So is Lightyear going to break through and knock Sonic off? Or are we going to see the top 10 remain the same? Well, Lightyear did knock Sonic off. I was going through this list, and I wasn't sure at first where I put it because it's so tough. Because you're so used to Pixar being in that top 2 or 3 tier, that top tier up there with like the Northman, everything, everywhere, all at once, and even Belle for me. But the pacing of the movie brings it down from a character perspective. But the fact that I was really did enjoy this movie. It had great comedic timings. It had really fun character moments. It was visually stunning. The music by Michael Giannotto. I'm gonna butcher his name. Let me see if I can find it here. Let's see, Michael Giannotto. I said it right. His score was very well done. I wish there would have been a little bit more forcefulness with it, but I don't think that's a minor nitpicking complaint from me. But this movie I found to be perfectly great popcorn filler fun. It wasn't going to be better than Top Gun Maverick. I didn't find it better than The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I enjoyed X a little bit more for that style of movie that it was able to tell. But comparing it to the other blockbuster style films we saw, the popcorn fun films like The Lost City, Scream 5, Sonic, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, this movie feels a lot better than all of those. So at the moment, it's my 8th ranked film of the year. Coming up, we'll have Elvis coming up soon, Thor: Love and Thunder, and Minions. And I'd be surprised if Minions gets on this list. I'm not a fan of the Minions at all. I'm excited for Elvis next week to see what that movie's like. Will it crack this list? We'll find out. That'll be my next movie review, my next video coming out. But tell me if you've seen Lightyear. What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me that you felt the pacing was a little bit too fast? In a way that it wasn't able to have that Pixar kind of connection? Or am I just maybe missing it and just personally wasn't able to connect to the movie myself, which is perfectly fine. Leave your thoughts down below. If you like these videos, leave a like. If you want to see more of my reviews, check them out on the channel. Subscribe if you like this content. And until next time, to infinity and beyond. I'll see you for Elvis next week.